The king who tried to outlaw potatoes, a ruler feared by his people, and a crop feared even more. They called it the devil's apple. Entire villages refused to eat it. Some claimed it caused leprosy, others said it was poison, and then one king supposedly tried to ban it completely. But the real story? It's far stranger than any myth. The potato arrived in Europe from the Andes in the late 1500s, carried by Spanish explorers, but Europeans didn't welcome it. To them, it was alien, no seeds, no flowers like wheat or barley. Farmers whispered it was unnatural, and priests claimed it was unholy, never mentioned in the Bible. In some regions, people even believed potatoes could spread diseases from the soil. So while it could have saved millions from famine, most nations refused to plant or eat it. The stage was set for centuries of suspicion until one determined king decided to change everything. In the 1700s, King Frederick the Great of Prussia faced a serious problem. His kingdom's land was poor, and grain harvests failed often. Famines stalked his people. Frederick was a reformer obsessed with efficiency, progress, and feeding his nation. When he learned of the potato's potential, he saw it as a solution to hunger. But convincing people to eat something they feared as evil wasn't easy. His subjects refused to touch the crop. That's when Frederick realized, to make them love it, he might have to make them think it was forbidden. Europe in the 1700s was a place of famines, wars, and superstition. People starved while the solution literally grew beneath their feet. Diseases like scurvy and malnutrition spread. Yet potatoes remained untouched, growing quietly in test plots near palaces and gardens. In some regions, farmers burned potato fields out of fear. In others, they fed them only to livestock. Frederick watched this madness unfold and knew something drastic had to change. He didn't just want survival, he wanted transformation. So, he began crafting one of the earliest examples of psychological manipulation in agriculture. Frederick ordered potatoes to be planted near Potsdam, but people still ignored them. So he tried a new tactic. He declared that the potato was a royal vegetable, meant only for the king's table. Then, he had the fields heavily guarded day and night. The villagers saw soldiers protecting mysterious crops and assumed they were valuable. Soon, people began sneaking into the fields at night, stealing the tubers and planting them secretly. Frederick smiled. His plan was working. Frederick understood something few rulers did. People desire what's forbidden. By pretending potatoes were exclusive, he flipped public perception. The same peasants who mocked potatoes now planted them proudly, believing they possessed the king's treasure. It was reverse psychology centuries before the term existed. Soon, the tuber spread across Prussia and rumors turned into admiration. The king didn't outlaw potatoes, he outsmarted human nature. And slowly, a legend was born that twisted the truth into a myth. Over time, stories changed. Some people misremembered the royal decree and claimed Frederick banned potatoes outright. Others believed he punished anyone caught growing them. As tales spread through Europe, each version grew stranger. By the 19th century, the myth of the king who outlawed potatoes became popular in folklore and newspapers. Ironically, the king who saved his people from famine was remembered as the one who banned their salvation. Once potatoes took root in Prussia, they spread fast. Neighboring countries like France and Russia noticed their power. Yields were enormous, and the tuber grew even in poor soil. Soldiers carried potatoes on campaigns. Peasants relied on them in harsh winters. Within decades, Europe's nutrition changed forever. By the early 1800s, potatoes had become Europe's food revolution, helping sustain populations during war and scarcity. Yet, few remembered the clever king who made it happen. Frederick didn't stop with guarded fields. He wrote edicts praising the potato's nutrition and sent pamphlets to villages explaining how to cook and plant them. He even hosted royal potato feasts, inviting nobles to dine on the humble tuber. Slowly, resistance turned to curiosity. When the king eats something, peasants follow. His campaign became one of the earliest examples of government food propaganda, and it worked. By the late 1700s, the potato had saved millions from starvation. Nations ravaged by war turned to it as their main crop. In Ireland, Scotland, and Germany, it became a staple of survival. But history has a cruel sense of irony, because the very crop that once saved people would later bring catastrophe when the Irish potato famine struck. Yet without Frederick's bold intervention, Europe might never have known the potato's power at all. The Irish potato famine, 1845 to 1852, showed both the brilliance and danger of dependence. A single crop failure led to mass starvation. Millions died or emigrated, but by then, potatoes were inseparable from Europe's identity. The irony deepened. The food, once seen as cursed, became sacred, yet fragile. Frederick's psychological experiment had reshaped the continent's future for better and worse. In modern Germany, Frederick the Great is remembered for wars and reforms, but rarely for potatoes. Yet, in Prussian villages, small monuments called Kartoffeldenkmal, potato monuments, still honor his efforts. Each year, some towns even hold potato festivals, thanking the king who outwitted an entire nation into survival. The 18th century was the age of enlightenment, when reason began to challenge superstition. Scientists, philosophers, and reformers sought truth, but the public still clung to myths. The potato became a symbol of that conflict, logic versus fear. Frederick stood between both worlds, a warrior king with a scientist's curiosity. His potato campaign wasn't just about food. It was about breaking tradition through reason. While others mocked him, he quietly sowed the seeds of Europe's agricultural revolution. Frederick's success inspired others, especially Antoine-Augustin Parmentier in France. A pharmacist and war prisoner, Parmentier survived on potatoes and realized their potential. Back home, he launched a campaign eerily similar to Frederick's. He hosted potato-themed banquets, gifted bouquets of potato flowers to Marie Antoinette, and turned the crop into a symbol of progress. Soon, Parisian elites were obsessed. The potato had gone from despised root to fashionable delicacy, all thanks to two men who refused to accept fear over science. It's astonishing how one clever illusion can transform an entire culture. Frederick's guarded fields were a masterclass in human behavior manipulation. He never punished theft, he encouraged it silently. This tactic turned peasants into evangelists of a crop they once feared. Psychologists today still cite his strategy as an early example of behavioral economics, using status and scarcity to shift perception. Long before social media or marketing, Frederick had mastered influence. Centuries later, the story changed again. Simplified retellings claimed Frederick tried to outlaw potatoes, twisting his clever trick into a decree of fear. The truth blurred into legend, retold in classrooms, newspapers, and even comedy sketches. But this is what history does. It simplifies complexity into symbols. The king who banned potatoes wasn't a villain. He was the reason millions survived. Sometimes, the myth is more memorable than the truth, but the truth is always stranger. From Europe, the humble potato traveled the world. It reached Asia, Africa, and the Americas once again, not as an exotic crop, but as a global necessity. Today, it feeds billions, appearing in every cuisine from Indian curries to Peruvian stews. What began as superstition in Prussia became one of humanity's greatest equalizers. The crop that needed a king's trick to survive ended up feeding empires. Beyond the myth, the potato's strength lies in its biology. It's rich in carbohydrates, vitamin C, and potassium, able to thrive in harsh conditions where wheat fails. Its adaptability made it crucial for population growth and industrialization. Historians even argue that the potato fueled Europe's rise by sustaining larger workforces. So while Frederick's plan began as royal propaganda, it accidentally became an engine of modern civilization. Frederick the Great died in 1786, unaware that his little experiment would echo through centuries. Today, statues of him still stand across Germany, but few visitors know the story of his potato fields. Scholars call it one of the smartest acts of social engineering in agricultural history. He proved that knowledge alone isn't enough. Sometimes, to change the world, you must understand what moves the human heart. The next time you see a simple potato, remember, it once sparked fear, rumor, and genius. A king didn't ban it, he disguised it as gold. His story reminds us that truth often hides beneath the soil of myth, waiting for someone curious enough to dig it up. So, what other forbidden truths from history do you think might still be buried out there?